Welcome back to another Saturday live stream in American Truck Simulator. Today we are going to be taking a drive up to and around ProMods Canada. First, let's see who's here early and on time. We've got Matthew Walter, Phantom 6767, Lobo 1G, Alvin James, Banff and Jaffo, Treasure O, or is it just O Treasure? Oh, brother. How does that go? Wherefore art thou? Vigner is here. Thor is here on the day after his birthday. Hopefully he's sobered up by now. Is the W900 the truck of the week on Truckee? Yes, it is. As a matter of fact. For American Truck Simulator, it is. Let's see. Some things are flying by. Dennis Jones, welcome to the stream. I'm going to do some shout outs. Isabella Hagloff, Bedrock, Bill Welburn, Rob Strecker, a.k.a. Lurch, Nicholas XXXN, Susan Arthur, Captain Minnesota, Omega Trucking, Trucker Kitty, Norwegian Trucker Nicholas, Big Al 2424, Asimified, Lobo 1G, Phantom 6767, Wim 55, Matt Van S, Trucker King 2010, Carlin, David Long, aka Shorty, Wiz Nation, and Wolf Tank 71. All right, we'll get to the rest of them later. Let's see. Well, there we go. Come on. My other browser here where I'm watching this is not cooperating. Great. It started over. Okay. That seems to be cooperating. What else we got? Matthew Roth is here. Thorse is still a bit heavy in the head. I'm not surprised. All right. So let's jump into the game here and talk about where we are and where we're going and things like that. So we are in Kalispell, Montana. We're going to take US Highway 2 west over here to just north of Sandpoint, Idaho, and then we're going to cross the Canadian border, drive through Cranbrook, which we've been to before, or been through. We're going to go up here to Radium Hot Springs. Radium Hot Springs was added recently to ProMods Canada. I don't know if it was this version or the version before, and I just missed it, but it's in there now. And we're going to run over here. This is actually the provincial border between British Columbia and the next province over, and I think that's Alberta. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Ken Beard is here, and we're actually going to cross over that, and there's something Canada here, not quite sure. And we're going to deliver this park vehicle to the provincial park. Adam Buser is here. Sunpleo is here. Howdy. And so let's get going. Speaking of going, let's take a look at this load. It is a Parks Canada pickup truck. So I'm guessing that this pickup truck is a mod from ProMods, I assume, because this is not base game, and I don't have any other cargo mods in. The next province is Alberta. Yay, I got it right. Okay. And then Saskatchewan. And then Ontario. If Rick Rashid was here, he'd probably know them all. You'd think. So we've got full fuel, full clock. We're just going to get on down the road. Now this is not an oversized load. I already had all this stuff kitted out. The truck and the trailer are already kitted out. So I just left it on. So it's not oversized and it's not overweight. But we are over speed. I think we got to slow down before we encounter that. Oh. I have not been to Kalispell, certainly not driven west out of Kalispell in a very long time. Wheelchair Gamer is here. Oh, I guess I could have done some shout outs at that red light. If I had a thunk of it. Here's another one. Trucking through video. Nick. Well, that was quick. West to Troy. Let's see. Kenworth question: how do we know if camera is right space to see over the hood? There's Rick Rashid. You missed you weren't here earlier to ask you the question that Vigner answered. A road trip nerd. Welcome to the stream, both of you guys. Ooh, red light. Let's see. Sonny had a question. Oh no, that was a statement. Getting real close to level 30. Somebody. Oh no, he did ask. Does ProMods also use a camera car for the scenery? Not sure what you're referring to, unless you're talking about Google Maps. And in that case, yes, they use that all the time. Let's see, and they visit, but ProMods doesn't visit. Probably, They don't have any budget for that, since they generally speaking don't make any real money for their mods. They get a little bit, but they got a team, so no. So they use Google Earth. Vigner says the cities that have been confirmed to be in BC are the DLC are Grand Forks, Creston, Sparwood, Invermere, Golden, Princeton, and Campbell River. Okay. Treasure, I don't recall off the top of my head. Zeemods, of course. But I am certainly using a something with lots of horsepower. So I can check that real quick at the light. At least some of it. Let's see, 732 horsepower is what I'm using. It is probably the 3406E, most likely. Okay, so Wheelchair had a question. How do you know if the camera is right space to see? Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by that, Wheelchair. You know, you can adjust your view, if that's what you're referring to, by going into the F4 and adjusting your seat. And you can bring it up or down, whatever suits you. I at least like to see my hood mirrors. So if Kitty could get his leg out of the way, that would be great. It's not me doing that. I don't know. There goes the train. Hello, Stubbs. Sonny, we're not even in ProMods yet. We're still in base game area. This is Montana. And Lowrider is here. Did check my mods and it works now. Oh, I think the G button on my keyboard works with ETS2. No longer crashing. Well, that's good. Yeah, this is impressive scenery, but this is still this is the Montana DLC. Sonny, the force feedback settings are not truck specific. They are universal within the game. So however you set your force feedback is, we could get together later and walk through them and compare yours to mine or mine to yours, and tweak yours if necessary. Like when I was hitting those in the center of the road here, that whatever those things are in the center, I forget what they're called right now. I can feel that in my steering wheel. All right, got a bypass. It's always a welcome sign. Wrong button. Well, I can't answer that, Sonny, without looking at the settings, and it's got nothing to do, again, nothing to do with which truck you're driving, because you set the force feedback settings for your game, and then it doesn't matter what truck you're driving. Force feedback is just that. It gives you feedback in relation to what's going on within the game, regardless of which truck you're driving. So when I run over those bumper things, they're not bumpers, they're little grooves in the road in the where the double yellow lines are at the moment. When I run over those, I feel that in the steering wheel. There's other settings too. Welcome to Idaho. Matthew, I haven't seen a posting for a Sunday convoy yet. If it's happened since I started getting ready for the stream, I'm not aware of it. Sometimes, Drive has a crazy work schedule, so he isn't always able to get to things in a timely manner. And then I don't think Kyle didn't have one last time I checked. Today. He's been dealing with some weather issues where he lives. But tomorrow, I am streaming tomorrow evening, and that will be the winner's convoy for the ATS All States Challenge. And it is unusual to be streaming on a Sunday, but we had a tough time coordinating with everybody's schedules in order to even get it done. Oh, now I get pulled in. I have to go this way anyhow, so that's something at least. JJ Man is here. Drive is Speak of the Devil. ATS for tomorrow's convo. Okay. He must have posted something. Because he was adulting at work for the last 4 days, including today. I hate that adulting thing. It interferes with my inner child. Do we have one scheduled for today? Because last time I looked, there was nothing. There is one on the 21st, Vigner. That's Susan's. Although for me, it's on the 20th. Really late at night. All right, we're about to cross into Canada. British Columbia. JJ says, I think it's about time I bought another monitor. My speakers want out in mine, I think. Oh, went out. I think you're talking about a second monitor, which would be great. Vigner, I think for you, it's the middle of the night on the 21st. So wee hours of the morning on the 21st. For me, it's late at night on the 20th. David H74, RD04 Dave, Douglas Williams, JC Drives. Come on. Pancake Man, Ken Beard, Grumpy Grandpa Gaming, Road Trip Nerd, Ken Maselman, Hunter Toller, John Whitesall, also known as Trucker John, Muhammad Helmi, Jaffo729, Megatron Decepticon, Amp 2020, and Dan Lind. Short list today. Hey, Susan. No, we're just about to cross into British Columbia from Idaho. We started in Kalispell, Montana. Oh, 6 a.m. on the 21st. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Just to have a peek at the map. So for Susan's benefit, we started here in Kalispell, Montana, and we've since crossed into Idaho, and now we're crossing into British Columbia. JJ, it is probably a ProMods load, since this is not normal. This is not base game. What else would have Canada on the truck if not a ProMods Canada base load? I don't have any other cargo mods installed, or active rather. Oh yeah, Nightbot is here, so watch your P's and Q's. Turn off that caps lock key and don't spit out too many emojis or Nightbot will get you. And I got trailer damage coming through there, of course. I think this bridge might be in. Have you seen the screenshots for the British Columbia DLC? When I saw them, I saw one that looked like just like that bridge. Yeah. Normally, I think you would do this on a like a step deck trailer or a drop deck. Water over a road. Doesn't sound good. I'm going to uncover all this gray or color it all in. I got most of it, but there's a little piece back there that I actually drove over that didn't get colored in. That's weird. Maybe this was the bridge. I don't know. It just looks really neat. So keep in mind all the speed limit signs over here are in kilometers. So the game translates that onto the GPS. Whoops. I wanted to enjoy that view. Wow. There's a viewpoint here I don't have. I think we've got time to get it, right? We've got 4 hours to get this in. Over 4 hours to get this in, and we've got less than 3 hours to drive. Oh no, Vigner, no chance of a 5-star. It's too light, it's too short. And now I've got trailer damage. Oh, let me fix something while I'm thinking about it. Okay. What a nice looking town. Now this is ProMods. When we crossed over at the border crossing, we entered, well, actually before that, once we headed north off of US 2, that was ProMods territory. Yeah, I think it is a train museum. There's a lot of train related stuff in this on this area. In fact, one of the towns up here, we're not going there at the moment, but there is something else train related. Yeah, Sonny, the scenery is a big deal. That's why I get ProMods, all of ProMods. So in yesterday's stream, I had ProMods Europe installed. Are we really going right here? I guess we are. And it adds some scenery and some new places like Svalbard and Iceland and a little bit of Greenland. Ooh. Well, stick around. If you like what you see in this right now, stick around, because I think we're probably going to get a load that's going to take us through some of those other areas with even more beautiful mountains. Liz is here, already claiming Swifties. Or predicting Swifties. No, but JJ, I got the Swifty counter hidden because it's not being used at the moment. See, there's no Swifties. So I leave it turned off, so it's not the block part of the screen. Train is here. Welcome to the stream. Well, I wonder how long my turn signal's been on. Well, Stunny, I see your logic. Makes sense to me. There's our 2-hour warning. Roughly. But we were only minutes away. This is Radium Hot Springs. Dude, really? Didn't your mama tell you not to pull out in front of big trucks? Now this is all new to me. I know some of you folks have been to Radium Hot Springs already, because I see it in the job reports. So that's Radium Springs we just passed through, and now we're headed out to the park. I guess it's a provincial park. And let me look at that. Ooh, getting close to the guardrail. Yep. Let's see. Parks Canada, Kootenay National Park of Canada. Kootenay. That in Idaho. Actually, I think it's Coeur d'Alene. Is also, that's Kootenay County in Idaho. Let's see. So many of these in real life. Some even try to outrun a train. Yes. Yes, they do. And sometimes they wind up on YouTube as a warning to others, which is a positive side effect. I mean, how awesome would it be to drive through here in real life? Should have hit that while we were here. Ooh, got some more stuff happening here. Hot Rims is here. Welcome. Always good to see Boomer on the roll. It's not on a jelly roll. And Journal is here too. Welcome back, guys. Oversized banners on your truck and trailer are a bit over the top. Yes, they are. They're authentic, but they're not necessary for this load. I just already had them on for something else and I didn't take them off for this load. Okay. Well, there's just a whole slew of these park trucks driving around in circles right now. Come on, you guys, you're in my way. Do I look at every job report? As far as you know, I do. Yeah. Pretty much. Sometimes I just peruse past them quickly, but yeah. And I still miss some of the 5-star runs. I'm usually looking at other things. You know, race miles. Where people are taking loads to and from. Yeah. Ah. Well, that was short load. Let's take a look at the world map real quick. So here we are in Hot Springs. Radium Hot Springs. So what I want to do is get rid of this trailer and go down to that. Oh, look, it just started raining. I think what's the best way to get out of here? Let's try this way. I don't want to go up this road. I just want to get turned around. Well, this isn't looking good for getting turned around. JJ, race miles in Euro truck is anything over 100 kilometers an hour. wonder why this road didn't go through. Huh. If you're ever out and about in the real world and you see a trailer like that just parked out of the way, now you know why. The driver dropped it there so he could roam freely. Usually to go get fuel or food or groceries or go home if they live nearby. Things like that. All right, I'm going to go down and catch that viewpoint first. Then we'll come back here to this pull-out, the rest area, and sleep. So, Radium Hot Springs. That must be the hot springs. Oh, you saw that, did you, Sonny? That must have been the one in the Bay Area, because, man, that was tough. Ah, to get you both of these in the merch store. These are awesome. Good stuff. So there's the hot springs, I guess. Steamy goodness. That sign say? BC is idle free, no idling. Okay. Fortunately, it's not necessary up here unless it's freezing. Well, not even then. Ah. Um, yeah, a lot of places are getting like that. I mean, you're just blowing out exhaust, but sometimes it's necessary because you're powering either, air conditioning if you don't have a external AC system. My truck did. My truck, I had an external AC system, and then I had a bunk heater. So in the winter, I could run the bunk heater and keep the sleeping area warm. Okay, let's see. Did it today? Yeah, I never realized how beautiful ProMods Canada is. It really is. Was that on YouTube? I don't recall seeing it. Yes, it's in my video archives on YouTube in my real life trucking videos. I don't know if it'll be under driving. It'll probably be under driving in California because the part that he's talking about, um, right? I don't know if it was Goodwill or it was actually, I think it was a different organization, but um, it was crazy what I had to do to park there. Halfway to Trondheim. Anywho, so let me sleep here until morning time, and then we'll look for a load coming out of that place up the road a bit. Okay. So I want to find something out of Newmont because I want to go up and explore that. It's either that or we go to Rustic, whatever that is. Can't do external loads because they don't exist in ProMods area. Okay, Newmont. Oops. Here's something going to Lillooet, British Columbia. Oh, that'll be nice. Yeah, actually, I would. Don't want to go back to Idaho. Let's stay in British Columbia because this is a very scenic drive. Very scenic. And even the place where we're delivering to, very scenic. I've been there and it's awesome. So let's go. Let's go pick up this wheel loader. Okay. Yeah, so we actually have to go inside through the gate. Yeah, Sonny, that place is a real minefield. I wonder where that goes. Doesn't seem to be blocked. Let's check this out. Wheel loader. They've also got this JCB wheel loader. Okay, that's interesting. See? Sometimes you got to get out and size up the situation. What I'm going to do is bear to the right and use that to get turned around so I can back into that spot. Now this is going to be an oversized load, so I need all these banners and placards and flags and stuff. Clintus Fobbs is here. Welcome to the stream, Clintus. And Iris is here. Given that this is your truck, I was wondering whether Canada is comparable to the US concerning truck types. Yes. It's almost seamless. I mean, there are Canadian truckers that do cross-border, well, and American truckers that do cross-border operations all the time. There's at least one on Twitter that I follow that is Canadian and is all over the U.S. And then there was another YouTuber who lived in, I want to say Saskatchewan, oops. And was all the time driving around the U.S. So other than extra paperwork and permitting, it's basically identical. I mean, within Canada, the electronic logging devices regulations are slightly different than in the US. But depending on where you are driving, you have to comply with those regulations. Whether you're American or Canadian, if you're an American in Canada, you have to follow their regulations while you're in Canada, and vice versa. If you're Canadian and driving in the US, you have to follow, once you cross over, you have to follow US regulations. anything else, you have to follow the laws of the land. I had a friend that hauled boats in and out of Canada all the time. He said that was some of his best trucking. Oh, Sonny found the video. Uh, I guess you could. Well, maybe you can't share it in here. I don't know if you can or not. I don't think you can share hyperlinks. I guess you could put it in gamer chat. Just make sure you reference the context that this was the video. You could even address J. You can at JJ or ATS Gamer in Discord, in gamer chat, or ATS Trucking chat, either one. And just make sure you include the context why you're posting that video. Like, this is the video we talked about during today's live stream, yada yada. Let's see, found the video. Let me go into camera mode while I read these. Let's see, that sounds identical to trucking between EU countries. Yes, it is. I was more referring to truck types, as in brands and cab overs or not. Same trucks. We all drive the same trucks. There might be some small differences, but they're manufactured all over North America. Some I don't know which ones might be manufactured in Canada. A lot of them in the U.S., but also in Mexico. So, like, I had a truck. It was a Freightliner that was manufactured in Mexico, but a lot of the parts come from Canada and the U.S. So it's part of the North American Free Trade Agreement that was signed back in the 90s. So a lot of that. But anyway, it's the same trucks. Canada or Australia is different. They have the same manufacturers or brands, but they are different than U.S., Canadian, Mexican. And actually, even I was going to mention Mexico. They use the same trucks too. A lot of times, a lot of the companies in Mexico, they buy the used trucks from that used to drive around the U.S. Because they cost less. And so that's a good secondhand market for U.S. and Canadian trucks. And there's a lot of Mexican drivers that do cross-border operations into the U.S. as well. I encountered a few in I'm drawing a blank. That city in South Texas, not Brownsville, but the other one west of there. Wasn't McAllen. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. Hold on, I gotta look now. Look at a map. Texas. Laredo. So I got to Laredo a lot. And there was a lot of truck drivers from Mexico that would drive cargo into the U.S. to local warehouse facilities. And then they pick up a load and take it back over the border. So a lot of manufacturing of stuff that is sold in the United States happens in Mexico, and so that's how it's transported. Like I've hauled loads, and we'll get to that in the new series, which I'm anxious to get started on. But I've hauled loads several times to Laredo, sometimes raw materials, sometimes finished products that go to a freight forwarder warehouse, and the stuff gets taken. I mean, I drop the trailer and then grab an empty trailer and be on my way. But that freight forwarder warehouse, they'll take that trailer, get the stuff out of the U.S. trailer, and transfer it into a Mexico-bound trailer, and then a Mexican truck driver will come and pick that up and take it into Mexico. Same thing happens at every major U.S.-Mexican border crossing, San Diego, Nogales, Laredo, probably El Paso too, Brownsville. So a lot of that stuff is happening, and nobody ever notices because you're not involved in it. Okay, JJ's got the video. Great. So the Australian trucks are well known in the Netherlands. We just barely hear anything from Canada here. Australia was the inspiration for the extra long Dutch trucks. Okay. And oh, Mexico has the European truck models too. Okay. I know in South America or I believe in South America there's a lot of Euro trucks. So it really depends. Harlan is here. I have been pressure washing my parents' driveway. Nice. So, yeah, each country has their own laws with respect to trucking and other things, just like different states do to a certain extent. But Canada and the U.S. are very similar. There is also I think Scania has a presence in Canada. Somebody was talking about that recently. Anyway, we're going to take this route here through Golden and pass through this beautiful, beautiful area through Revelstoke. And that's the city that I was talking about that has a train museum, I think it is. Lurch could explain that better if he was here. Then we're going to pass through Salmon Arm, Kamloops, Cache Creek, Lillooet, and that's where we're going to deliver. So the really cool place to be up here, Raylorn. Yeah, look at this wiggly road. Look at that. That's some wiggly roads. Okay, let's get going. Wait, let's see. It's just that we hear from us about Australia and America a lot in terms of either trucking or regulations, but not Canada, which is why it sparked my curiosity. Yeah, I mean, Canada is physically larger than the United States, but population-wise, it's very small. I don't recall what the population of Canada is, but I think it's comparable to California. So it's just one state. So that you could Google that and see. So even though Canada is physically larger, it has like the population of roughly just California. So, yeah. There's a lot of alcohol coming to Laredo from Mexico. I'm not surprised. That's where Willie gets his beer. Corona from Mexico. Not directly from Mexico, but it winds its way up through the border. Okay, let's get to driving. We're going to run out of time. Okay, so I was close. I knew it was somewhere comparable to California. Yes, most Canadians live within 100 miles of the U.S. border. $41.4 million? You sure about that, Vigner? I think Iris was, or no, Journal I thought was closer to that. Or no, who said the... Yeah. I think it's in the 30 million. I mean, it could have grown. That's the last time I heard a number. It's from Google? Okay. Well, must be true if it come from Google. I was going to say look it up on Wikipedia, but that's not necessarily... I mean, for something basic like a population of a country, I think Wikipedia is a good choice, but not for much else. Well, I guess they needed these trucks up here because they do a lot of driving around in circles. Well, it's not an official hidden road because it's not showing up on the map. Oh, and that's as far as it goes. Let's see if this other door opens up. Nope. 5% damage. Oh, that's probably on top of whatever else I had. Get along, little doggy. It's like a parade of pickup trucks. All right, let me catch up on the chat here before I get rolling. Vignesh says that's as of the first quarter of 2026. Found the same number on Worldometer using data from the UN. I haven't looked at that site in a long time. That's a good site to look at. Lowrider says, I'm not surprised about that. Who wants to live inside a refrigerator all year long? Well, considering I live inside an oven most of the year, I'd go for that. They can always put on a jacket. So Canada has about 2.21 times a citizen count of the Netherlands. Huh. Yeah. Would trade my hot, humid weather. Yeah, me too. You know, I used to prefer the warmth. Now I prefer the coolness. Why are these pickups following you like East German Stasi guys? Is Canada communism now? Well, it's not far off, but no, it's just Stasi guys. That's great. That's a good analogy. No, this is just, I would call this a ProMods glitch. Well, they're creating dynamic traffic, but it's all the same vehicle. But I'm stealing that analogy. I'm going to follow these pickup trucks and go that way too. Otherwise, I got to get tangled up with them over there. Because I know I can get out this way. Stasi was an intelligence service, typically operating in stealth. It was the Gestapo that operated more open. Well, the Gestapo was not East German. That was Nazi Germany. The Stasi was the East German police. and intelligence. Seeing as how it was a police state, the police and the intelligence service was just about the same thing. But you're right, we should stop going on about that. You'd be surprised how you can actually get hung up on innocuous things. It just depends on how they have the physics set up. I watch a YouTube channel by a guy from Germany, and he covers all things East Germany. The history of a variety of things in East Germany. There's a movie, it's a German movie. I haven't watched it, but I kind of wanted to. I put it in a watch list that I never got to. I believe the English title is Other People's Lives. And it was about an East German Stasi officer who was listening in on people who were suspected as being subversives, and he wound up falling in love. I think the storyline was that he fell in love with the subject of the surveillance. I could be misremembering that, but it was something like that. Anywho, not about trucking. Let's talk about trucking. I am easily led astray down rabbit holes. Especially when it comes to history stuff. That was close. Adam, the DDR is East Germany. Deutsche Democratic Republic. Berlin is in the DDR. Or it was within the DDR. And East Berlin was the East German side of Berlin. Okay, let's go back to watching scenery. And I'm speeding. You just noticed a cat on my dashboard? Actually, Iris, Germany was divided between East and West. I'm sorry, Berlin was divided between East and West. In fact, there was the American zone, the British zone, and the French zone in the West, and the Soviet zone in the East. East Berlin. So the U.S., Great Britain, France, and the Soviet Union were the four major victors. And they each had zones of occupation post-war. All that was set up prior to the end of the war. Anyway, again, we're going into history stuff. I could talk history all day. But I'm glad it's history and not current events. Yes, Berlin and West Berlin was behind the Iron Curtain. Thanks, JJ. Now that place in that video was in the Bay Area. I don't remember where exactly. I'm sure I said it in the video. And I got loaded there and took that load up to Spokane, Washington. More train stuff. Welcome to Golden. Red light. Green light. Yeah, I love history too. I love studying history. I did that a lot of that when I was on the road trucking. I would buy history books on Audible and listen to them while I was driving. It could take me a week or more to get through some of those. Rango Hellcat, welcome to the stream. This is the other golden. But yeah, every time I see golden, I think of the one in Colorado because I spent a fair amount of time there back when I was a young guy. Oh. You got the train skins, right? So that's nice. Well, I'm going to call that a Swifty. Oh, I'm not in a voice chat. I can't play the sad horn sound. Hold on. Forgot to do that in Discord. I got distracted. There we go. Had to respond to a message in Discord. That's where we're going. Answer to the question, we're hauling this wheel loader to Lillooet. We still don't have smell-o-vision. Maybe someday. Huh? See you, Drive. Yeah, highway hypnosis, that can get you. Happens to me sometimes when I'm driving in the game. That's when you get stuck just staring at the road. Thanks, Drive. When you get stuck just focusing on the road and the lines and little else, and you begin to just drift off. Easy to do when you're already tired. I was doing that a little bit in yesterday's live stream. know what? Excuse me. This might be a nice place for a photo. Yeah. Let me fix some lighting issues here. Yeah, that'll work. I was just thinking a couple of minutes ago that I'd like to find a good spot to go for or to get a good thumbnail shot of the area. Because this is some beautiful scenery. Rumble strips, that's what the name, it's the name of those things in the middle of the road and on the side of the road that I was trying to think of earlier. Rumble strips. And yeah, they're helpful for busting you out of that highway hypnosis. Yeah, we generally only have them on the highways here too, where the speeds are higher generally. Well, the way they put the rumble strips in the US is they're not adding something. They have this device, and you can do it over painted surfaces. They have these rollers on these heavy equipment that rolls over the area they need that, and it literally punches a rumble strip into the pavement, into the asphalt. Doesn't work on concrete though. On concrete, you have to add the little knobby things. But here in the game, well, in the US anyway, they actually have them right along here, and this is asphalt, and so it's literally punched by a roller into the asphalt. So they do that as part of the road construction process usually. Did not know that, Journal. I know you can't be asking me if I've ever driven in Colorado, Journal. I've lived in Colorado. But I've trucked across Colorado many, many times. Check brakes. We have places like this in the US too, but most of the time we don't have to stop at them. I have on occasion though, just because I needed a little break. You know, why didn't that guy stop? He's stopping for me? Really? We are coming into Revelstoke shortly. Well, that's not very convenient. There ought to be a turn lane for that. Whoa. Don't mind me, I'm just reading chat. So let's see. Oh, while the truck is slowly moving over the road in need of new markings, typically. Yeah, I think ProMods Canada looks better than most of Germany, except, but an awful lot like Switzerland and Northern Austria or Western Austria or Northern Italy. It is quite comparable to the Alps. I wish we had time to drive over to the dam, but that's real scenic. I've been there. I mean, some of you have seen that in my live streams, or a live stream anyway. Yeah, this scenery is awesome. British Columbia is this beautiful, but it's also comparable to Washington. Speed limit dropped. Yeah, it almost seems a shame to drive the speed limit through here. And you could drive much slower and get a better look at the scenery. Except that we got places to be. We got a load to deliver. I'm gonna pull into this shop. Get some damage repaired. And answer Treasure's question. Okay, let's get some service done first. We got some trailer damage, and that's it. Trailer damage. Okay. Let's see. So let's look at the engine information. It is a 3406E, as I suspected. It is ProMods, but it's in there because it exists in Canada, but it also exists in the US in several places. But it's not modeled in the game for some reason. So brake checks exist in base game ATS. I mean, in the US. I don't think they're actually in the game. Outside of ProMods, that is. I can tell you where there are some of these brake check locations. One of them is in south of Victorville in California, which is at the top of the Cajon Pass on Interstate 15. It's not modeled in the game. There's one for Eagle Pass. I think it's not Eagle Pass. But there's one in Tennessee, south of southeast of Nashville. And there's a couple there's at least one in South Carolina, I think. There's one in Colorado. But it's not modeled in the game. So I don't know why ProMods chose to include it. And conversely, I don't know why SES did not include it. Maybe they will in the future. It's possible that Canada is more stringent on requiring it. Red light. Hey, there's Treasury still here. Well, no, Vigner, Tennessee's not in the game, and neither is South Carolina, but these are real-world places where those exist in real life, which is what I was talking about in the U.S. The 3406 Treasure, 3406 Echo. I don't know if it was a 5 or 6. I don't know, or I didn't look that closely. Why you want to be so specific? It's a Caterpillar engine, 3406E. Next, should be asking me what color it is. I don't know, it's under the hood, I can't see it. This is Salmon Arm. Yellow. It probably is yellow. Since it's a cat. It's to Trondheim with 15 minutes left. Off to watch World Cup. Oh, I should look for a sleep trigger since we got 3-ish hours. How much? 3 hours? Oh, exactly 3 hours. Let's see. I could stop here. I could stop here. I think we'll just stop here. It's not that far out, though. Okay, we'll stop there. Well, it's a 3406E. It's going to sound good if that's what you're after. Well, I know I'm an old man now and I keep leaving my turn signal on. Well, there's the first yawn, so we got here just in time. Or in a good time. Not going to be able to do this like I thought. Yep, I'm just going to get myself tied up in knots here. Yeah, it's not gonna work. Good thing this is a gooseneck trailer. I can do this jackknife thing safely. Couldn't do this with a dry van or a reefer. Sometimes persistence pays off. Did it? What did I miss? Yeah, Treasure, use either one because I'll have both of them in my game. So the audience will hear whichever one you're using. So all the ones that I have listed in the mods list down below, I have those in my Conway profile as well. So if you're running any of those, it'll come through the stream. So we're gonna do the minimum 10 because we need a little bit of leeway. So now I gotta swing wide. I might have to do a little maneuvering just to get out of here. Swing wide. Okay, no maneuvering needed. All right, we have 184 miles to go and 6 hours to get there and deliver. Man, we're running long today. Must be all that sightseeing I did. And yakking. I love that the trains are skinned properly. Treasure, are you using the Zeemods? That makes a difference. Because I don't have the Steam version of this. Okay. Well, thank you, Lowrider. Gotta take them rest breaks. And Treasure, if I remember, or maybe we could do it later, I could, at the end of the stream, maybe I could pull up my mod manager and look at the exact ones if you need to see. But I've got all of the, well, not all of the Zeemods engines, but a whole bunch of them. And they're in my active mods list. Trying to see those signs, but looks like they're just like slow down, move over for emergency vehicles, and carry chains from different times of the year. So this is pretty much the western side of the mountains, and this would be the Cascade Mountains. So this is the same, what we were driving over there. That's the same Cascade Mountain range that runs through Washington and Oregon. Farther east into Alberta, you get the northern part of the Rockies. I'm looking forward to that. So I hope that ProMods expands that direction. Mercies. Ash Creek. Yes, Adam, Banff National Park. I am looking forward to that in Alberta. Okay, we're gonna run over some sidewalk here. Not really anything to be done about it. Oh. Wow. Well, use all the available space if you need it. Don't feel like you have to stay inside the lines in a situation like that. Well, there's our delivery coming up. Wait, we're still 80 miles out, but I can see the flag. Good thing there's nobody coming. Ooh, Purdy. I hate it that I want to look at the scenery, but I gotta watch the road. Somebody posted a meme like that in the Discord the other day. Come back and get that, hopefully, after make delivery, if we have time. Wonder why that little road exists. Is that a road we can drive on? Wow. Looks like the road got washed out. Oh, there's another one. We'll get this one. Nidouette. I think we have time. Guaranteed rugged. Well, Treasure, the 14-hour thing is your clock. So you just have to abide by that. There is no other clock. Yeah, what Vigner said. I usually do 11 hours in ATS and 9 hours in Eurotruck. When you start your day with a fresh clock, you can put it out a marker pin 11 hours and then adjust or use that as an estimate. Because you need to find a rest break location. You've seen me do that a number of times in streams. And if you haven't, then you haven't been watching my streams enough. Because I do that a lot. This is some twisty turny stuff. Can't believe the speed limit through here is 100 kilometers an hour. That must be a glitch. Your mandatory clock is your sleep clock. Or your sleep clock is your mandatory clock. Delivery clock is something else. The mandatory clock has always been in the game. It's just handled differently now. Yeah, we're not going to get back to that other viewpoint. A lot farther away than I thought. In American Truck Simulator, you have a 14-hour duty day, at which point you must take a mandatory rest break. Well, the fines are not new. They've always been there. I think ProMods is worth getting just to be able to come to places like this. I think STS is handling the clock fines differently now, more realistic. Maybe. I don't know. I never go over. I mean, that's not true. I have. In the past, when you went over, when you ran out of time, you would get warnings. And then if you encountered a way station or police car, you would get fined if you were over time. Well, there's our spot. Yeah, we're gonna hit. There's no way around it. We're gonna probably gonna hit him. Unless we get clear and he gets through. I guess I got lucky. Yeah, Lowrider, I like that too. I used to use the developers console to change the time to like 9 p.m. or something, and then I would sleep, but I don't have to do that anymore. I like the new system better. All kind of jacked up here. Did have to lock my differentials. Oh, we only got 20 minutes, 19 minutes to get this in the parking spot. Guess I better stop dinking around, eh? I had to add the A at the end because we're in Canada. When I was a teenager, there was an older couple that lived a few doors down. They were from British Columbia. I mean, we live pretty close to Canada. Anyway, but they had moved to the U.S. And he said that all the time. Eh? Made it on time. I think I'm going to leave my truck right here. Wow, that was a neat drive, huh? Through all of this scenic stuff. If you get ProMods Canada installed, you definitely ought to take the route that I did today. And come to, if you can get to Revelstoke and go to the dam, or at least watch the live stream replay where I visited here before. This is impressive. That dam. But yeah. And then what's really cool is to continue on over here. This is so beautiful over here. 355 hardcore points and 4 stars for that run. Cool. Let's see. I kind of know how it works, but it would be better to hear from an experiencer. Maybe I should do a video on it. I don't know. Maybe explaining how the 14-hour drive clock works, or duty day. It's a 14-hour duty day and an 11-hour driving clock within that 14-hour window. I did not run out of sleep time, and I was not late. Yeah, we can talk about it later. Okay, so but I did want to share my mods. So I'm going to hop into the mod manager real quick, and then we'll wrap this up. I don't think I had to remember to do anything else today. We did the runners up drawing yesterday. Mod manager. So Zeemods engines. I have the Cat 3406. Yeah, I don't know which one I'm using. You're right, but I have both of them. So if you have either of these in your game, the sound will come through because I've got the mods. I'm seriously thinking about getting that new one that just came out. Somebody stop me. Okay, so now since you've asked, let me go back in and I'll get to a shop real quick. Wow, we were running really late today. Getting close to 3 hours. People still sticking around? Got lots of likes and stuff, so that's good. Must be doing something right. Remember, tomorrow evening, we're doing a convoy live stream for the All States Challenge. And we will have, I'm doing this from memory now, so if I forget somebody, I apologize. We got Lobo, Treasure, Pilot, and Ducky, and myself. So there were actually five spots, 5 criteria. Once again, Lobo got 2 of them, just like he did last year. Just how he rolls. All right, let's go to a place where we can go to Pemberton. That's close. Not that it matters. New Orleans Dome. So first we'll do some repairs because I know there's no damage. Nice. So we'll go into vehicle configurator and we'll look at the engine. And this is the 3406E 6TS. There you go, Treasure. That's the answer. Now, I'm not using this I don't know if I'm using this in the truck for tomorrow. That's a different profile. But I guess I could look at that. I can turn these beacons off. But I've got all these mods in both profiles. I'm not going to go all the way back into the truck for this one, but we'll look at the mods. Got all the mods. All the Zeemods. I've also got the Cat C15 6NZ. Just so I could hear if somebody else has that in. Yeah. I guess I could go for this long. We may as well make it a whole 3 hours. I don't even know what I'm driving over here. I may have to switch trucks to use the W900. It won't matter tomorrow. By the time we get to this convoy, I think the Truckee Achievements Truck of the Week will change. Now I'm just curious. Huh. 777,777 kilometers. Oh yeah. This is the W900. So where am I? I'm at a shop. I'm near a shop in Reading. So I'll just do a quick grab. It'll throw me over there. $4 to teleport across the parking lot. Or quick travel, I should say. Yep, I've got the 3406 6TS or 3406E. Different engine. Good enough for what we're gonna do. So got to get rid of that trailer though for tomorrow. Okay. That's gonna do it. Long day today. But there's no stream tonight. So yeah, but there is tomorrow. I got it. Okay. $4. You could just drive across it, but it's quicker. It's a quick travel, I think. Anyway. All right, guys. Thanks for riding along. And we will see a bunch of you tomorrow night.